Hey everyone, welcome back to Drive Protected. My name is Eric, and in today's video I'm going to talk about the top 5 cons, in my opinion, of doing bulk paint protection film installs on vehicles. So let's get into it. Alright, so con number 1, pretty obvious place to start. You're wasting a lot of material when you're doing bulk paint protection film installs. With bulk paint protection film installs, you're taking a large sheet of film and you're putting it over top of a panel that is going to be much smaller than the amount of film that you're using, and you're going to take and squeegee it into place, make sure that the PPF is installed correctly, and then after that you got to take and trim all that excess material off, and you can't use it for anything. You got to throw it away. So that's wasted money with material that you're just throwing away in the garbage. All right, con number 2 about doing bulk paint protection film installs is you're running a knife on the customer's vehicle. The only way you're going to get that excess material off the vehicle is you got to take a knife and you got to trim it off. Even after you've trimmed off the excess and you still got to do all your final trimming, you're taking a knife and you're literally running it around the entire perimeter of the panel that you're installing paint protection film on. Now, with putting knives on vehicles, all paint protection film installers out there, whether they want to believe it or not, everybody has at least cut paint at least once in their journey of installing paint protection film. Now, the best of the best, they take their time. When things are slow in their shop, they take scrap paint protection film and they'll take a piece of metal, or they'll take their own vehicle inside and they'll practice cutting on their own vehicle or a piece of metal that's lying around, or even having some mirrors or body panels like a fender, for example, in your shop just to practice with. When it comes time to practice cutting paint protection film, you cannot practice enough. You have to be able to have the right amount of pressure that you score the PPF by basically cutting half to 3/4 way through the film and not cutting all the way through the film where you're cutting into the vehicle. The unfortunate thing is, it does happen from time to time. So that is definitely a con to doing bulk paint protection film installations. All right, con number 3 when it comes to bulk paint protection film installs is they can take a lot longer time to do a panel. For example, I'm gonna use a Tesla Model Y front bumper because we've done a lot of Teslas in our shop. I can install the PPF a lot faster on a Model Y front bumper doing a bulk install. But when it comes time to actually do all my final trimming and my post heating, the actual time to install that bumper took me probably 10, 15, 20 minutes longer than if I would have just done a pre-cut template, installed it correctly, because then in that time, I'm not having to worry about trimming and all the unnecessary throwing away material and that time and that type of stuff. So it can definitely take a whole lot longer to install correctly from start to finish. That includes post heating and trimming as well too. So number 4, bulk paint protection film is a lot harder to quote when you're giving out quotes to your customers. For myself personally, when I first got into doing paint protection film installs, I did not have access to a cutting software and a plotter, so I had to do bulk PPF installs, and it was very stressful for me to actually get into, because when a customer would come, they would want a price quote. Well, I'd have to take tape measure out and go measure each panel, figure out how many square footage of film that I was going to use, and then I'd have to price it out from there. Whereas when you have pre-cut cutting software program and you have a plotter and you got various different sizes of rolls ranging from like 18-inch, 24, 30, 36, and that all the way up to 60, you can get price quotes out a lot faster, and you can be a whole lot more accurate because you know exactly how much film is needed to price out that job properly. All right, now the 5th con to doing bulk paint protection film installs on vehicles is the public perception of bulk paint protection film installs. We could all be so lucky for a customer to come bring us their vehicle, drop it off, and just say, do what you need to do, charge me what you need to charge, protect what needs to be protected. I don't care how you go about doing it. We could all be so lucky if we have customers like that. Lots of customers, at least that I know, they want to kind of know a little bit about your process and how you're going to go about doing things. So when you have a vehicle come in, for example, I'm going to use a Range Rover, for example. I'd be using pre-cut templates on the bumper and on the front fenders and on the mirrors and basically the rest of the vehicle. But I'd be talking about doing a bulk PPF install on the hood. I'd have to go into explaining to the customer why we need to do a bulk PPF install on the hood, because of how much stretch is required to get the film to lay down across the front of the hood, and then having to use a knife to trim it all off. That's not something every customer wants to hear. I've seen it. I've seen the facial expressions of customers that I explain it to. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do a bulk PPF install and I'm gonna have to use a knife on your vehicle. You can see a little bit of hesitation in them, and maybe it's not like that everywhere else, but it is, at least in my community with the customers I've dealt with. Bulk is not something that customers are really too terribly excited about. And it's not like vinyl where you can use a knifeless tape, because there's not a good knifeless tape for PPF on the market that I've heard of that we can use to eliminate having to put a knife on a vehicle. So hope you guys enjoyed that video. This video was literally just me talking about my personal opinion on the top 5 cons to doing bulk paint protection film installations. If you did, make sure you leave a comment down below, hit that like button, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more paint protection film content coming your way.